I would say the Foxtail Film Festival, its success demonstrated that we have a community that supports local filmmakers and is excited about the filmmaking community, and that we have a lot of enthusiasm to build on, and a lot of room to grow. Uh, so it's still a bit early. We're not sure yet. So last year we had two great speakers that had connections to ISU, Doug Spilotro and Griffin Hammond. So that worked really well. And one of the objectives of the festival is to nurture and support relationships with professional filmmakers like that. So we're hoping to bring someone in, or probably two people, who, I guess there are two criteria. So one, hopefully some kind of regional connection, right? If not explicitly through Illinois State University, at least through Central Illinois, a connection to the region. And then second, hopefully they're doing exciting current work that we can showcase in some way. So last year, Griffin and Doug presented kind of a reel of some of their work. It would be great if we could premiere a short or premiere some kind of programming with a filmmaker there. The advisory committee is, that's one of the things that I rely on the advisory committee for. We have a few different faculty with a lot of different interests across genres. So right now we are brainstorming filmmakers that we would like to invite. So that it is in the works. It's just we're not quite there yet. Well, yes. The hardest thing about running the festival for the first time is, to paraphrase a politician, they're the unknown unknowns, right? So there are certain things you can account for, but then there are certain things that you cannot anticipate and that you just learn in the process of doing the event. So just becoming familiar with the layout of normal theater and the equipment they have and the technical specifications, I think will help us streamline things in the future. One thing that is going to keep the festival different every year is the degree to which it's student run. So the interests, the programming, the points of emphasis that we want to highlight in the films each year are going to be highly dependent on what students we have in our film festival class, which means there's always going to be a little bit of unpredictability because we're going to find those themes and we're going to find what we want to highlight, which may be new each year based on the students and their input. So I've always kind of anticipated that, but one thing that I have also learned going forward is to trust the students, to not to try to anticipate where some of the programming will go, and to keep the classroom an open space for us to talk about the different values we want in the festival, the mission going forward. So so part of what I want to learn going forward, there's like the technical streamlining dimensions. There's also the accepting that kind of level of indeterminacy and being prepared to kind of trust the students to lead the way as well. Yeah, I think so. The Foxtail Film Festival, broadly construed at the moment, has a mission to support local and regional filmmakers and to connect ISU and the Bloomington Normal community to kind of the broader industry. Right. But that's a very broad mandate, right? So as long as we're kind of within those parameters, if the students want to create a lineup of films that highlight a particular issue, social justice issue or whatever, there's space to do that. And I would be excited to hear those types of kind of themes or interests emerge in the classroom. So we do have a kind of broad mission, but there's a lot of flexibility in there. And that flexibility comes from the students. So so in that respect, I would say it is student run, and the students will always have a strong voice in anything we do. So my role is as much kind of quality control and management than it is like director of programming the festival. Right? Most apparent is increasing the visibility of the festival in the community, and by extension, increasing the visibility of the festival within the broader film festival community, because that allows us to get more film submissions, which means we can make better lineups, or lineups that allow us to showcase different things. So the more visibility, the stronger and the more options we have for programming. So to me, the more submissions we get, it'll be an added challenge because then there's more to sift through. But I do think that's the biggest step to strengthening the festival. So I would say that visibility on both those levels, I think, is my most immediate concern. So I did teach I co-taught a class in the past that was similar to this, but this was unique. This class I developed, it was kind of from the ground up, so it had a different structure and everything. So I would say, last year there was a syllabus. You need a syllabus, but the objectives of each class changed based on the rolling deadlines of putting the festival together. So essentially, I and all the students in that class had to be prepared to deal with a new deadline every week. And I know we had a class assignment that was supposed to recap a festival, like, what does the Berlin Film Festival look like and what is its mission? And we had to keep postponing that because we had so many other urgent things. Like, we can't do that yet. We can't do a basic class assignment. We have to get these submissions done. So hopefully we can have a more fluid timeline, which can be reflected in the syllabus, so the students and myself can really be prepared to hit our marks in the way that would make everything flow a lot more. So there's a degree of chaos in that first year that I'd like to mitigate a little bit. That would be the biggest thing. But what did I learn from the class? I learned that the students were much more prepared and excited to deal with those deadlines and those immediate kind of concerns than spending another week reading, some kind of article about the history of film festivals or whatever. Not to say that doesn't have a place, but it was much more exciting to have that hands-on experience and to have something that you could work with those students in a kind of urgent and in a way that, I think they knew they had to take responsibility if they wanted the festival to happen. They have to be the ones judging and they have to be the ones making these decisions. So the students responded to that pressure. So I think one of the things that I learned is, again, to trust the students to have those responsibilities, and then, but hopefully this year providing some more structure so we can anticipate those deadlines and, be a bit more organized. It is very difficult. Theater rentals are not always cheap. And then getting the staffing and tech support to have that happen, a huge difficulty for any kind of festival organizer. So the normal theater is a gift, a real gift. The festival couldn't happen without it. I think I'm most proud of the way that the festival provided a supportive environment for the filmmakers that came. We had, on both the ISU night and the professional night, we had at least half of the filmmakers whose films were shown come to the festival. And it seemed like it was an environment that made them excited to be a filmmaker, made them feel supported, made them excited to continue to work and be creative in those ways. So seeing that level of engagement and that level of excitement by those that attended, I think is what I was most proud of. Because in a way, it also feels like the thing that is least out of your control, like how are people gonna come together in this environment? You create the structure for it. And then when they came there and when you see the support for the ISU filmmakers, their teachers were also there, the faculty were also there, and they were excited and taking photos, and that felt really good.
Sure, good.
exciting, exhausting, and invigorating, to the extent that I think everyone felt as soon as it was over, like, let's run it back, let's do it again. So it was exhausting, but it was also, so many of the conversations I had with my students were like, well, let's do this next year, and it was immediately felt like something that we wanted to keep doing and carry forward. So invigorating as well.
That's very cool.
I guess two things. So one, the film festival is an excellent opportunity for alumni to come back and to see what creative activities are going on campus. That's how we got our professional speakers last year. They're ISU alums, so it was a way for them to give back. But so first of all, it's just an event. It's a 3-day event that gives people a lot of opportunities to come back and share their experiences and participate in something that's student run. Secondarily, we hope to continue having the festival run forever, but in order to do so, we need a kind of sustainable budget. So any support that alumni can provide financially will allow us to keep the festival going from year to year. So I know we have opportunities for that during Birds Give Back. Right? Birds Give Back, alumni can donate and have it earmarked for the festival itself. So any kind of support, I think, is really meaningful because it keeps the festival sustainable. Each year it can continue to grow, and each year it can kind of be a showcase both for ISU but also for the Bloomington Normal community.